Good evening, I'm Ces Orenia Drilon. We begin with images and words on day 2 of the impeachment trial of Vice President Sara Duterte. The VP was spotted at the Senate but did not stay for the proceedings. Her past and more recent statements were also front and center today. Pwede nang maupo?
In this bloodbath and bludgeoning, I will be blooded but unbowed.
The impeachment rules do not mandate nor require the respondent to attend any hearing or trial of the impeachment court, whether she was in the building earlier or arrived after.
With that, we will reserve the right. We are not waiving the right to do call her at the appropriate time and to do file the appropriate request for subpoena ducis tecum and subpoena testificandum.
Quote and quote, gusto ko tanggalin yung ulo niya ba? I just imagine myself cutting his head.
Kaninong ulo ba? Yung nire-refer ng Vice President na gusto niyang tanggalin.
The President, sir.
May we move for the exclusion of Agent Calilong for being not previously attached to the Saballa and Cabrera complaints?
The Saballa complaint already lived its natural life.
Honor, we request that the entire video be played.
That is a misreading of the rules. Your Honor, please, counsel cited Rule 132, Section 17. With all respect to the defense, that doesn't serve your interest. It serves the interest of the prosecution.
At 6:23 p.m., the second day of Vice President Sara Duterte's impeachment trial adjourned. The impeachment court is looking at a 92-day trial schedule. Let's bring in mobile journalist Merrimon Reyes. Merrimon, para sa kaalaman ng mga nanonood, ano yung unang article of impeachment or Article 4 na tinutukan ngayong araw?
Sa ikalawang araw ng impeachment trial, 4 kasing articles of impeachment na isasalang talaga throughout the proceedings. Pero nauna, itong Article 4, ipatungkol ito sa alleged na grave threats na binitiwan ni Vice President Sara Duterte kay Pangulong Bongbong Marcos, First Lady Liza Araneta Marcos, maging kay former House Speaker Martin Romualdez. November kasi 2024, noong yung staff ni VP Sara na si Zulaika Lopez na sa custody ng House of Representatives, nagpa-unlock ng online press briefing si VP Sara. At during this time, she badmouthed the Marcos administration at yung ilan pang mga sinabi niya during that time, ang allegedly, ang threats na binitiwan niya dahil may assassination plot daw umano laban dito sa First Family, pati kay Romualdez, kung siya mismo ay mapatay. Pakinggan natin at balikan natin yung pangyayari noong panahon na yon.
May kinausap na ako na tao. Sinabi ko sa kanya, kapag pinatay ako, patayin mo si BBM, si Liza Araneta, at si Martin Romualdez. No joke. No joke. Nagbilin na ako, ma'am. Pag namatay ako, sabi ko, huwag ka tumigil hanggang hindi mo mapatay sila.
Merrimon, sino ang unang witness na pinresentan ng prosekusyon?
Sa pinangunahan ni Counsel for the Prosecutors, Attorney Amando Vergil Licutan, yung pagpapakilala at yung examination sa unang tetestigo. Ito nga si NBI Senior Agent John Mark Santa Ana Calilong at siya ay agent ng NBI since 2021. Pero recently assigned siya sa Cybercrime and Assessment Center. Noong 2022, na-assign din siya sa Digital Forensic Division at ang primary duties niya raw ay i-identify, i-collect, i-analyze at i-present ang digital evidence in court. Nag-undergo na siya ng computer training, computer hacking investigation training, photo and video authentication training, mobile forensics, pati at lahat ng pag-uusapan ukol sa kanya ay may kinalaman doon sa alleged threats. At siya raw ang magpapatunay, supposedly, i-verify niya kung meron nga ba talagang online press briefing na nangyari at kung may nasabi nga ba ang bise na nakikitang grave threats talaga. Pakinggan natin yung bahagi ng trial kanina.
Partikular na sinabi sa publiko ng Vice Presidente na may kinontrata na siyang tao na papatay sa Pangulo, unang ginang at former Speaker ng House of Representatives. At ito ay nakatatak na sa kasaysayan ng ating bansa bilang unang pagkakataon na ang isang Vice Presidente ay nakipagkontrata sa isang mamamatay tao upang patayin, no less than, the President's.
Your Honor, may I object? Is this a speech or an offer?
No proper ground. This is offer of testimony. Please hold your horses.
Mary Mon, sinubukan ng depensa na ipatanggal si Calilong bilang prosecution witness. Paano ito na-address?
Says ito namang sa counsel for the respondent na si Attorney Carlo Narvasa, he moved for the exclusion for Agent Calilong kasi raw hindi raw siya previously attached doon sa isang kaso o yung complaint laban sa BC at hindi rin daw siya, ito yung isa pang grounds na sinasabi, hindi rin daw siya included doon sa articles of impeachment na transmitted sa korte. Ito naman si Attorney Ligutan from the prosecutor's panel, ang dinepensahan niya itong witness at sinasabi, this witness is listed in the pre-trial order. Let's listen into a part again earlier of the trial.
May we move for the exclusion of Agent Calilong for being not previously attached to the Saballa and Cabrera complaints, as well as exclusion on the ground that he was not included in the articles of impeachment transmitted to the Senate Impeachment Court.
The Saballa complaint already lived its natural life. Your Honor, this is the impeachment proceeding of the articles of impeachment filed by the House of Representatives. Saballa et al. Is done. That should not be a proper objection. I have been practicing for quite some time. I don't see that.
Your Honor, may I allow to reply also?
Can I finish? It's not a ground. And in fact, Your Honor, please, to settle the matter, this witness is listed in the pre-trial order.
Mary Mon, nasustain ng mas maraming beses ang prosecution ng presiding officer. Pero ano pa ba ang mga pieces of evidence na kanilang inilatag?
Says karamihan, bukod doon sa part, kasi 2 hours and 26 minutes yung haba talaga nung isang subject nila, yung online press briefing ni VP Sara. Doon, 2 minutes yung isang pinlay nila na yung pinaka-specific part na may binitiwan na umano'y threat itong si VP Sara laban sa First Family pati kay Romualdez. Pero bukod dyan, may iba pang compilation din ng videos ng ilang mga statement from VP Sara na may patungkol din dito sa parang may grudge na sinasabi nitong NBI, nitong witness from the NBI, directed siya sa Pangulo. Bukod dito, may mga post din from the AFP in response doon sa assassination plot or yung mga binitiwan nga na threat ni VP Sara. Plus, reaction din from former House Speaker Martin Romualdez. Ito yung ilan sa mga pinresenta kanina as documentary evidence. Tingnan natin again yung ilang bahagi ng mga ipinakita kanina.
On that October 18, 2024 press conference, may mga nasabi din na mga statements yung Vice Presidente laban sa President. Now, yung tanong is, ano ba yung naging mga parehong statements ng Vice President sa araw na yan?
Quote and quote, gusto ko tanggalin yung ulo niya ba? I just imagine myself cutting his head. So doon, na-realize ko, toxic na, di ba? Ganyan na yung imagination mo. Sinasakal mo na yung tao. And then, I said, this is over.
Kaninong ulo ba yung nire-refer ng Vice President na gusto niyang tanggalin?
The President, sir.
Ulo ng Presidente.
Yes, sir.
Mary Mon, nagkaroon ulit ng issue sa pagitan ni na Senador Risa Ontiveros at Pia Cayetano. Ikwento mo sa amin.
Ses, etong si Senator Judge Riz Hontiveros naman, may point of inquiry lang siya dito kay Atty. Ligutan na tinatanong niya, ito raw bang mga act na pinepresenta ngayon o yung bagay ine-examine ay mako-consider na ba daw ito na may na impeachable talaga offense yung ginagawa o yung pinakita ng bise. Kumbaga tinanong pa nga niya ano raw yung nakikita ni Ligutan na similarities doon sa mga video. And ang naging kasagutan dito ng prosecution, baga kailan daw sa kasaysayan ang nakita na ang ikalawang pangulo raw, ang bise, may assassination plot laban sa pangulo, lalo-lalo pa raw laban ito sa pangulo. Pero ito namang si Senator Pia Cayetano, gusto niyang ma-strike off the records itong naging response from the prosecution. Kasi ang nangyari raw, though may mga panahon daw talagang mahaba ang diskusyon sa trial, may mga part daw na exciting, may mga part daw na dragging, pero para naging conclusion daw yung lumalabas, na shortcut daw yung process ng impeachment trial. Pero ang naging ruling naman dyan ng impeachment court, ititable daw muna nila yung motion ni Senator Pia to strike it off the records at pag-uusapan daw muna, babalikan daw muna nila yung transcript ng mga nabanggit ng Senator Judge maging ng PROSEC. Pero nilinaw naman ni Senator Risa, wala daw siyang pinupunto na agad na may verdict na on that part na kung impeachable offense siya. Ang tinatanong niya lang daw ay yung material weight nitong ine-examine nila. Kumbaga para lang din daw sa kaalaman niya at kaalaman din daw ng ibang mga senator judge. Pero nirerespeto niya raw yung motion at kung ano yung magiging ruling ng Korte Suprema ng impeachment court kung ito ay ipapastrike off na mula sa records. Ses.
Natalakay ba ulit ang conviction threshold kanina?
Sa pagsisimula ng trial, itong si Senator Judge Ping Lacson naman, nag-inquire naman siya. Kasi raw kahapon, nung nag-take na ng oath formally itong si Senator Chis Escudero as presiding officer, nabanggit niya kasi doon yung voting threshold na 2/3 pa rin out of 24 senators or at least 16 senators ang kinakailangan para magkaroon ng vote of acquittal sa ini-impeach. Ang sabi rin kasi ni Escudero kahapon, pero kung sakaling may nais daw mag-challenge or mag-question tungkol doon sa literal na translation nung batas na in effect pa ngayon, pwede naman daw mag-file sa Korte Suprema, kumbaga idulog doon. So ang tanong ni Senator Ping, ibig sabihin daw ba ito ay a matter of justiciable question na ba to and answer and inquiry? Na sinagot naman ni Senator Escudero, oo, justiciable matter daw ito na maaaring matalakay, pero hindi raw ang impeachment court ang magde-decide dyan, kundi ang Korte Suprema. So ang sabi naman ni Senator Kiko Pangilinan, yung usapin dito, kung ihahabilin naman siya sa case si Senator Rodante Marcoleta at Senator Jinggoy Estrada na hanggang ngayon ay pinupush ng minority senator sa sana maka-attend daw o makapag-participate sa impeachment trial, magkahiwalay na usapin daw dapat yan na dapat bigyan ng kanya-kanyang oras at panahon. Ses.
Thank you for your update. Mobile journalist Mary Mon Reyes reporting to us live from the Senate. And earlier in the day, Vice President Sara Duterte was inside the Senate. No, she did not attend the impeachment trial, but she did leave a cryptic message to the media before she left. Mobile journalist Arles de los Santos was there, and he gives us the details live from the Senate. Arles, what was the Vice President's purpose in going to the Senate ahead of the opening of Day 2 of the trial?
Sa unang pagkakataon nga sa gitna ng impeachment trial ay tumapak dito sa Senado si Vice President Sara Duterte. Humarap siya sa media bagaman kaunti o matipid ang kanyang pahayag. At bago pa man magsimula ang paglilitis niya, agad din na umalis si VP Sara ng Senado. Ito ang unang beses na humarap ang bise sa gitna ng kanyang impeachment trial. Ang kaso, pinagbawalan siyang sumagot o hindi na nagbigay ng anumang pagsagot o tugon sa anumang mga tanong ng media. Narito ang maikling pahayag ni Vice President Sara Duterte.
In this bloodbath and bludgeoning, I will be blooded but unbowed. Maraming salamat.
Says sa Tagalog, no, ang sabi ni VP Sara ay sa gitna ng madugong bakbakan at pagpukol, magiging duguan umano siya. Pero hindi siya yuyuko. Kung matatandaan natin, mismong si VP Sara ang nagsabi noon pa, Ses, no, na handa nga siya sa bloodbath na paglilitis laban sa kanya. Handa raw din siya na harapin ang mga alegasyon sa kanya. Pero sa pagkakataon ito ay sarili na niyang sinasabi niyang magiging duguan. Hango ang sinabi ni VP Sara doon sa tulang Invictus na minsan na rin itinula noon ng kanyang kapatid na si Katie Duterte bilang mensahe daw ni dating Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte sa publiko. Ses.
Arles, sabi ay nakipagpulong lang siya sa kanyang defense team. Ano naman ang sinabi ng defense team sa kanilang napag-usapan, kung meron man?
Says so far ay in-invoke ni Attorney Michael Powa, spokesperson for the Defense Council, ang kanilang napag-usapan. No? In-invoke niya yung kanyang attorney and client privilege. No? Kaya hindi tayo nagkaroon ng pagkakataon na makuha yung kanilang specific ng kanilang mga napag-usapan. No? Pero at least kay Attorney Powa kanina nang galing naman mismo na kaugnay nga ito ng impeachment trial ni Vice President Sara Duterte. At nang tanungin nga kung bakit dito ginawa yung pagpupulong, no? Sabi ni Powa, ito umano ang convenient para sa kanilang grupo. Mula pa raw ng katrabaho niya si VP Sara noon sa DepEd ay ganito na yung parang nagiging galaw, no? Kung ano daw yung convenient para sa mga kapulong or ka-meeting ni Vice President Sara Duterte ay nag-a-adjust daw ito, no? O nag-aabala nga para nga hindi magkaroon ng any inconveniences for both part. At sa maikling pagpupulong ay inireport daw nila kay VP Sara ang pangyayari sa unang araw ng paglilitis kahapon. Pakinggan natin ang pahayag ni Attorney Powa.
Of course, we were giving her updates throughout the day. I was talking to her last night. So wala naman siyang, alam naman niya kasi na, she trusts that we know what we're doing, hindi ba? And first of all, yesterday was just the first day of trial.
Arles, alam mo, mahaba-haba pa tong paglilitis na ito. May chance bang dumalo ulit si VP Sara na pumasok na talaga sa impeachment trial sa mga susunod na araw?
Says bago yan, no, nagkaroon muna tayo ng pagkakataon kanina pagkatapos naman ng trial na tanungin din si Attorney Powa kung magiging regular na pangyayari na ba ito ng pagitan ni Vice President Sara Duterte at maging ng kanyang defense team, no? Kasi kung ito yung convenient para sa defense team, will it be a regular basis na ang Vice Presidente ang pupunta dito? Pero at least for the part ni Attorney Powa ay hindi pa raw nila yan masasagot sa ngayon, no? Pero palaisipan pa rin kung kailan nga haharap mismo si Vice President Sara Duterte at kung may balak man ito mismo na humarap dito. Wala pa tayong nakukuhang impormasyon doon sa spesipikong araw, Ses, kung meron nga bang ganong mga plano at kung, syempre, no, anong araw or anong article of impeachment mismo haharap si VP Sara. Pero nauna nang sinabi ni Attorney Powa na dadalo si VP Sara kung kinakailangan. Legal strategy daw nila na wag munang padaluhin ang bise sa ngayon. Ses.
Arles, sa pagbukas ng Day 2 kanina ay sindabi ng counsel to the prosecution, Attorney Lorna Capunan, na maaari nilang ipatawag ang vice-presidente bilang hostile witness. May kapangyarihan ba ang Senate Impeachment Court na puwersahang padaluhin sa paglilitis ang vice?
Says sa pagsisimula ng impeachment trial sa second day nito, no, ngayong araw, sinabi nga niya ni private prosecutor, Attorney Lorna Capunan, na maghahain sila ng motion para nga paharapin sa paglilitis si VP Sara. Ayon naman kay Impeachment Court Presiding Officer Chis Escudero, pwede namang maghain ng motion ang prosekusyon. Pero paalala niya, hindi mandatory o obligado si Vice President Sara Duterte ang respondent o ang akusado dito sa impeachment trial na ito sa kanyang pagharap at pwede naman siyang katawanin ng kanyang mga abogado. Narito ang pahayag ni Senator Chis Escudero.
The impeachment rules do not mandate nor require the respondent to attend any hearing or trial of the impeachment court. Whether she was in the building earlier or arrived after, it is totally up to the respondent because from the point of view of the court, she is represented in this court through her counsel already. Should the counsel for the prosecutors desired to call the respondent herself, the court will act on that motion and request.
We yield to the wisdom of your decision.
Thank you, ma'am.
With that, we will reserve the right. We are not waiving the right to do call her at the appropriate time and to do file the appropriate request for subpoena ducis tecum and subpoena testificandum.
Says.
Alright, maraming salamat sa iyong report. Mobile journalist Arles de los Santos there reporting live from the Senate. You're watching the big story on One News. When we return, we check the prosecution team who wants the impeachment court to compel the Vice President to her very own trial. Stay tuned. Prosecutor and Congressman Terry Ridon there after a sighting of Vice President Sara Duterte at the Senate today. The VP did not stay but did say in a very brief media briefing, quote, "In this bloodbath and bludgeoning, I will be bloodied but unbowed," unquote.
You cannot have a bloodbath from the sidelines. You cannot have a bloodbath from through proxies, no? Hindi po pwedeng mga abogado lang yung po humarap po sa paglilitis. Humarap po kayo sa paglilitis, harapin po ninyo yung katotohanan. Actually, instead of invictus, kailangan maghanda papuntang convictus.
The rest of the prosecution team did not take lightly the VP's pit stop at the Senate today. Joining me now is mobile journalist Amy Atienza. Amy, ano bang reaksyon ng mga House prosecutors sa pit stop ni VP Sara?
Tess, kaninang umaga nga nung nakita dito si Vice President Sara Duterte para sa ikalawang araw ng kanyang impeachment trial, una nang sinabi ni House Prosecutor Terry Ridon na welcome to the bloodbath. Pero sinabi niya rin doon na hindi nga daw pwedeng magkaroon ng bloodbath kung puro proxy lang ang ipinapakita ni Vice President Sara Duterte. Dinagdagan niya pa yan na sa suporta daw na ipinapakita ni VP Sara, ayun nga, hindi daw naman siya cheerleader para gawin iyon at sana nga daw ay humarap na siya mismo sa korte para sagutin yung mga katanungan na kalakip ng articles of impeachment. Bukod ba dyan, narinig din natin si prosecution spokesperson Rene Co kung saan sinabi niya na judging by the performance of the defense team yesterday during the first day of the impeachment trial, ay magko-confer din naman daw siya sa kanyang team para nga mapag-usapan pa yung strategies moving forward. So nasasabi dito ng House Prosecution Panel na sana nga raw ay magpakita na si VP Sara, lalong-lalo na dahil ito na yung perfect time at ito na din yung sinasabi niyang tamang korte para sagutin yung mga katanungan at mawala yung mga haka-haka laban sa kanya. Nagsimula na din kasi ang trial proper mismo kung saan nga sinimulan ito sa Article number 4, particularly doon sa assassination plot, grave threats at inciting to sedition against the government ni VP Sara.
What can we expect from the prosecution in the coming days, Amy?
Yes, inaasahan din natin na magpapatuloy nga itong usapin sa grave threats and destabilization laban kay Vice President Sara Duterte. At nakita na rin natin na may subpoena rin na ipinapatawag itong si Attorney Zalaika Lopez na kasama din ni VP Sara over the past few years para nga sa same article kung saan na maipapakita dito at matatanong din siya tungkol nga doon sa mga pagbabanta na ginawa ni Vice President Sara Duterte. Pero for the details of that, sinabi din naman ng lead ng Article 4 na si Congressman Nonay Defensor na they cannot disclose any details as of yet, pero sigurado naman na ma-examine ito lalong-lalo na kung naisubpoena na rin naman for the Senate impeachment trial.
Amy, parang masaya sila sa press con kanina. Ano bang sinabi nila sa inyo?
Actually, kanina sis, nasabi na rin dito no, na parang they scored points also given na nade-deny yung objections ng defense team. At nasabi rin nila no, na isang malaking bagay na yung pagpepresenta ng mga videos, lalong-lalo na yung press conference na ginawa nga ni Vice President Sara Duterte noong November 23, 2024, kung saan nga naipakita dito yung pattern of behavior din ni Vice President Sara Duterte pagdating doon sa grave threats na sinasabi. Kanina kasi nagkaroon din ng konting disagreement between the prosecution and the defense kung saan nga ang ini-imply dito no ng defense team ay maipanood daw yung 2 hours and 26 minutes na press conference. Pero splice lang naman yung nais ipakita nga ng prosecution team which was allowed during the trial for today.
All right, maraming salamat sa iyo, mobile journalist Amy Atienza there, reporting live from the Senate. It was not only the Senate that the Vice President visited today. She was with one of her staunchest allies, Senator Rodante Marcoleta. This morning, the details next. Stay tuned.
May kinausap na ako na tao. Sinabi ko sa kanya, kapag pinatay ako, patayin mo si BBM, si Lisa Araneta, at si Martin Romualdez. No joke. No joke. Nagbilin na ako, ma'am. Pag namatay ako, sabi ko, huwag ka tumigil hanggang hindi mo mapatay sila. And then he said yes.
In this bloodbath and bludgeoning, I will be blooded but unbowed.
The Vice President sure made the rounds today. She visited Senator Rodante Marcoleta at the PNP General Hospital a day after his arrest. And for details, mobile journalist Jazz Paredes is here with me in the studio. So Jazz, unang tanong, ano ba ang kalagayan ngayon ni Senator Marcoleta?
Yes, no. Base na rin doon sa naging panayam natin sa PNP Chief ng Internal Medicine ng General Hospital na si Colonel Bayani. Ayon sa kanya is clinically stable naman itong si Senador Rodante Marcoleta pero hindi pa siya fit na tumayo for trial. As of now ay kino-complain pa rin daw niya yung kanyang chest pain, nape pain, in connection na rin sa kanyang hypertension. Meron daw siyang history of hypertension kaya nagpa-fluctuate pa yung kanyang blood pressure and 9 a.m. kanina nung kinuusap natin si Colonel Bayani ay nasa 140/90 yung kanyang blood pressure. Although stable, clinically stable, pero yung pagpa-fluctuate daw ng kanyang blood pressure ay indication na hindi pa siya fit nga for transport din sa Sandigan Bayan for his return of arrest warrant, says.
So babantayan na lang natin kung kailan iige ang kanyang kalusugan. Pero nagkaroon siya ng VIP visitor kanina. Kwento mo sa amin kung paano at gano'ng katagal ang pagbisita ni VP Sara?
Yes, no. Very, very brief lang yung visit. Siguro more or less than 1 hour. Actually, na-confirm lang natin yung kanyang visit. Noong kinumpirma nito ni Colonel Bayani na tinanong natin, may mga bumisita na ba dito kay Senador Rodante Marcoleta? Siyempre, nag-overnight siya sa PNP General Hospital. He was visited by his family, legal counsel. Eh, yung kanyang ang VIP nga is si Vice President Sara Duterte. And according doon sa confirmation ni Colonel Bayani, she visited daw around 7:30 a.m. in the morning. And around 8:30 a.m. daw ito umalis. Although hindi natin nakita in actual yung itong si VP Sara dahil yung layout ng PNP General Hospital ay
Medyo tago
medyo tago siya. Kapag pumasok yung sasakyan, yung pagbaba ng guest ay hindi natin makikita. So we only saw yung convoy niya, yung sasakyan. And we only confirm kung sino yung laman noon nung na-confirm na nga ni Colonel.
Mahabang convoy ba yung nakita nyo?
From what we saw, parang 3 sasakyan yung convoy. No? So hindi naman madami, but kaya hindi rin natin ma-judge noong una kung si VP Sara ba. So we only confirmed lang later on nung may panayam na tayo with the Colonel Bayani.
Okay. Mabalik tayo kay Senator Marcoleta. May mga nagsasabi na hindi kaya special, may mga nagtatanong, hindi kaya special treatment ito na ginagawa ng PNP sa kanya.
Yes, no. Ayan din yung isa sa mga tanong, especially from the very start din kaya SALG Secretary Remulla. Dahil nga, kung mapapatandaan natin doon sa series of arrests na nangyari din sa ADG, kung we can recall, itong kay Senator Jungo Estrada and DPWH Secretary, dating DPWH Secretary Bonoan. There were questions na meron nga bang special treatment now that we saw, itong si Senador Rodante Marcoleta ay dinala sa Philippine National Police General Hospital instead of directly moving him to the Sandigan Bayan after his booking. But it was clear na it was protocol din, Sesno, na responsibilidad daw ng Philippine National Police na to ensure din yung safety and yung well-being din nung kanilang in custody while before ito i-transport dahil says
Hindi kaya pagbibigay ito sa INC dahil nag-rally sila bago malabas yung warrant.
Yes, no, ito meron din tayong usap-usapan yung selective justice na isa rin sa mga sinasabi na baka daw ito nga ay may selective na treatment or something. Pero says this is protocol daw, no? Dahil nga
Pinaninindigan nila yan.
Yes, dahil nga kung makikita natin sa commitment order, isa rin ito sa mga requirements or supporting documents na dapat ang isang in custody ng PNP ay fit for transfer. So makikita lang ito sa medical assessment and examination. And sa case ng Senator Rodante Marcoleta, he complained na mataas yung kanyang blood pressure at pananikip ng dibdib. So it was necessary talaga na dalhin sa Philippine National Police General Hospital. Kaya kung matitignan natin yung kanyang state of health ay hindi pa rin talaga for transfer, Ses.
Sige. Yung mga kapwa-akusado, nasa na sila ngayon? Sila pa'y nasa Camp Crame at hindi pa nadadala sa Quezon City, New Quezon City Jail?
Says after the booking procedure, no, from what we recall, na-aresto na itong tatlo, although separate silang na-aresto. Ito una si dating Congressman Mike Defensor and negosyante si Joseph Espiritu and later within the night kahapon ay si Aristotle Veray. Although si Aristotle Veray says no, siya ay dinala muna sa Philippine National Police General Hospital kagabi dahil he also complained na mataas yung kanyang blood pressure. But ngayon, after siyang ma-return ng arrest warrant niya sa Sandigan Bayan, along with his co-accused defensor and Espiritu, ay na-confirm na rin sa atin ng BJMP ay na-commit na sila sa Quezon City Jail sa male dormitory sa Payatas and they are now integrated with the common or the general PDL population.
Okay, so we will continue to monitor the state of health of Senator Rodante Marcoleta. Ano pa ba ang kailangan nating abangan mula sa iyong beat dyan sa PNP?
Yes, no. Kung babalikan natin, ang sabi ni Secretary Remulla is 1 to 2 days yung possibility ng pananatili nga ni Senador Rodante Marcoleta sa Philippine National Police General Hospital. At tapos na yung first day, and according din kay Colonel Bayani, ay pwede pang tumagal ng isang araw since he's still undergoing his workup and laboratory test. So we're expecting na possible by tomorrow, no, he will be transferred to the Sandigan Bayan kung okay na yung health, hindi na nagpapatwit yung kanyang blood pressure, and we will be expecting the possibility na tomorrow will be his return of arrest warrant and marinig na rin natin yung commitment order na mula sa Sandigan Bayan.
So, bale, booking procedure hindi pa nagagawa sa kanya?
Booking procedure is done na, no, dahil ito yung pagdating niya doon after surrendered and arrest by the CADG,
Before I let you go, alam mo, nakakataka lang yung lagi silang nag-argue kung sumurrender ba o naaresto ba. Pero ang sagot ni Secretary John Vic Remulla kahapon ay both. Can you do both? Surrender and arrest?
Says ang explanation.
Parang diplomatic, anong klaseng sagot yun? Sige, paliwanag mo.
Ang explanation sa atin dyan, says, no, dahil nga nung nandoon na si Senador Rodante Marcoleta to file his motion to quash yung warrant for arrest, ay nandoon na rin siya. So nag-lockdown after it was denied. And coincidentally, dumating na rin sa SLG or along with the arresting team. So it was a mixture of both daw dahil nga he was already there, he surrendered. But the team...
Kumbaga, he made himself available. He was
but the arresting team was there, so arrested and surrendered. So it was both. But of course, hindi naman tayo.
But in the case of former Congressman Mike Defensor and Joseph Espiritu, apparently they were having negotiations with the CIDG. There were talks, but they still were arrested. They were going to surrender. So, anong paliwanag to?
Says, ang base din sa pahayag ng Philippine National Police, no, ang kanilang paninindigan dyan is they were arrested. So, although wala tayong elaborate na explanation kung ano yung naging coordination beforehand, the arrest was made. But according kay SLG and the Philippine National Police themselves, it was confirmed na arrested daw talaga yung termino, and the arrest was made by the CIDG themselves.
All right. Thank you so much, Jazz. See you in your beat. Hawak mo ang beat. Maraming
Hawak ang beat,
salamat.
sis.
That was mobile journalist Jazz Paredes. And here are the other stories making headlines this Tuesday from Mobile Journal, Daniel Dayaw.
The Sandigan Bayan has denied former Senator Bong Revilla's request to visit the wake of his brother in Imus, Cavite. Revilla sought permission on June 27 or 28 under BJMP escort. He also asked to appear without wearing his prison clothes. The anti-graft court, however, said the request did not present an emergency or compelling circumstance that would justify an exception to the rules for detained accused persons. It added that granting the request would also strain the BJMP's security personnel. Revilla is facing a non-bailable malversation case over an alleged 92.8 million peso ghost project in Pandi, Bulacan. His petition for bail remains pending before the court. Headline inflation eased to 6.4% in June, marking the second straight month of slower price growth. The latest reading was lower than the 6.8% recorded in May. It also came in below the Bangko Central's 6 to 7% forecast for the month. The June print brings the average inflation for the first half of the year at 4.8%. Well above the government's target of 2 to 4%. Authorities attributed the slower overall inflation to lower price increases for transport, food, and non-alcoholic beverages. Super Typhoon Bavi has slightly weakened ahead of its expected entry into the Philippine Area of Responsibility late Tuesday or early Wednesday, according to Pag-asa. As of 3 p.m. this Tuesday, Bavi was packing maximum sustained winds of 185 kilometers per hour, with gusts of up to 230 kph. It was last spotted 1,705 kilometers east of Central Luzon. Once it enters PAR, it will be given the local name Inday. Pag-asa said Bavi is expected to remain a super typhoon as it enters PAR. It is then forecast to gradually weaken into a typhoon by Thursday as it passes near extreme northern Luzon and moves toward Japan's Ryukyu Islands. Kapatid Mobile Journal, Daniel Dayaw, we are One News.
We now circle back to our top story, day 2 of the impeachment trial of VP Sara Duterte. And joining us tonight is an experienced lawyer and advocate. Welcome once again to the big story. We have Attorney Dino De Leon. Okay, day 2. What's your assessment of the performance or the presentation of the prosecution of the first witness?
Well, I consider it as a major win right from the very start because when I say a major win, it's because nagkaroon na ng trial eh. Di ba? Right from the very start.
Yun na nga yung parang, we all thought it would never happen.
Correct. Last year pa lang, the strategy of the defense, which is why they filed multiple reliefs, so all the way up to the Supreme Court, is to prevent the introduction of evidence. And right now, we're seeing evidence firsthand. And nakikita na ng publiko, so I think it's a major win. That's first. Second, even in the initial exchanges, opening statement pa lang yesterday, all the way up to now, makikita mo na yung premonition no, ng strategy ng both sides. Ang strategy kahapon sa opening statement pa lang is, ito yung paratang, ito yung mga ebidensya, ultimately, anong klaseng bansa ba ang gusto natin? Anong klaseng bansa ba ang makikita ng ating mga anak, ang mga susunod na henerasyon? Yun ang sabi ni Congresswoman Jervil. Yung kabila, I am uncertain, and I'm sure you took down notes, I am uncertain what is the strategy. But basically, ang nakuha ko doon kahapon pa lang ay dalawang bagay. Una, 32 million votes na nagboto dito. And that is not the issue, di ba? The issue is whether or not 32 million nga yung bumoto. Ang question is, binitray ba yung boto na yun eh? Di ba? So, yun yung issue. And yung pangalawa is the burden of evidence, the burden of proof is supposedly with the prosecution. Pero ang telling sa akin, hindi man lang sinabi ng depensa na inosente yung kliyente nila. Not a single instance did they say and look everyone in the eye na inosente ha, ang kliyente namin. Pasensya ka na, Cesa, kasi ako, I've been in practice for more than a decade. Nung si Laila de Lima, kliyente ko, una namin sinabi kaagad sa lahat sa sambayan ng Pilipino, inosente siya. And we looked everyone, all the accusers in the eye and said, inosente si Laila de Lima. Hindi nag-absent si Laila de Lima kahit na isang trial. Why? Because she's innocent. So nagtataka lang ako kung bakit hindi man lang inarticulate na our client is innocent. So sa akin medyo telling yun no. Ang nakita natin is puro technical, no? Dapat right from the very start last year ito pa rin yung pinigilan na nga ito ng Supreme Court, di ba? Et cetera, et cetera. So yung technical na yon, I feel like honestly, no, as a regular lawyer, practicing lawyer, it may be ill-advised. You know why? Nakakalimutan siguro na sui generis kasi ang impeachment. Kung ordinaryong korte ito, naintindihan ko pa eh. Pero nagmumukha kasi every single time kanina object ng object, walang tigil. Kahit na ang lilit na bagay, para kasing may tinatago yung optics-wise. So, I see the point na litigators itong mga ito. Pero maybe what they're forgetting is sui generis ang impeachment. At every single time na nagmumukha silang balakid, nagmumukha sila lalong may tinatago as opposed to explaining why they're innocent.
Pero trabaho yan ng defense di ba? Na pigilan yung ebidensyang, I mean, that's their role.
Well,
That's
ako,
what they
depende
will
siguro.
try to do.
Depende.
Paano
Kasi
dapat?
Sa akin kasi kung, innocente ba? Hindi ko makita kung ano yung ebidensya na meron sila eh. Siguro sa aking palagay, hindi ganun yung pagka-execute ko. Ito lang kanina, Cesa. Nagtataka lang ako kung bakit. And tama yung ruling ni Senate Presiding Officer Chis Escudero.
Nagugulat ka ba kay Senate?
Nagugulat naman, pleasantly. Meron rin mga iblang nag-disagree ako. Pero overall, okay naman yung pagka-preside niya. No? Ang sabi sabi nila, nag-o-object about, let's say for example, yung original ba to? Hindi. Meron kasing proper time din.
Parang may mga marking na hindi naman dapat.
Correct. May proper time kasi. Ang proper time nun is pag nag-formal offer of evidence, pag magre-rest na yung case. Sa akin lang, ako lang as a lawyer, I don't raise those points nang nagpe-presenta pa yung prosecution kasi nire-remind ko pa sa kanila ng homework nila eh. Pwede pa nila i-correct eh. Pag tapos na sila lahat, that's when you point out what are the things na hindi nila naipakita. So yun, I agree naman sa'yo na trabaho nila yon. I would have just executed it otherwise. And I am uncertain what is the game plan ng defense dito. Hindi ko alam, mahirap siguro yung kaso. Pero right from the very start, if innocente, I would articulate it. At least that's gonna be my overall strategy if I'm in the defense.
All right. Now, VP Sara may be called in. Attorney Lorna Kapunan, counsel to the prosecution, stood up and said she may be called in as a hostile witness. But before this, she appeared. She appeared and issued this very short statement. What do you make of that?
I was in the Senate nung dumating siya eh. Kakarating ko lang, no? Nagkasalubong nga kami eh. And then ang una kong naisip, again, as a as a citizen of this country, mag-e-explain na rin siya, no? And
that was your initial
That was
reaction.
my initial point, no? Actually, dapat nga hindi tayo napapawaw kasi minimum expectation naman yung naharapin mo yung proseso, no? Pero
because by all indications, she really made it appear na she wasn't
Hindi nga
going.
Oo. So nagsabi ko, ayun, mag-i-explain na siya. And then finally, we deserve this kasi deserve ng taong bayan ng explanation. Di ba? Pero unfortunately, hindi nangyari yon. And then 5 minutes lang. And then natuwa pa ako dun sa 5 minutes na wala pa nga 5 minutes. Yung statement niya, one-liner, di ba? In this bloodbath, my head is bloodied but unbound. Di ba? Nasa Invictus yan eh. Alam naman natin yung tula na yan eh. Ang na-miss niya siguro doon sa tula is under the bludgeonings of chance. My head is bloodied but unbound. Hindi ito bludgeonings ng chance eh. 'Di ba? Hindi ito dahil sa pagkakataon lang ng mundo. Ang nagpukol nito sa sarili niya mismo eh. Kasi nga yung first evidence kanina is siya na nagmumura-mura, naglilisik yung mata, at sinabi, nagkontrata na siya ng assassin. So I would have to respectfully disagree with the reference. No? Under the bludgeonings of chance, I don't think this is chance. Siya mismo nagproduce ng ebidensya.
But she wanted that statement as against, because she expected na ipapakita yung mga previous niyang pagbabanta, di ba? So, I think I don't know, what's the strategy there?
Ako nga ill-advised. If I will be counsel, I will
Why?
be very much uncomfortable with the reference to bloodbath
bludgeoning. Oo.
and bludgeoning. Kasi
It's all about so bloody.
correct.
It's
Ebidensya.
violent.
Ang first nga na pinipresenta is yung overall fitness niya. And ang pinapakita, nananapak siya ng sheriff, nagsasabi ng kontrata na siya ng assassin. Tapos ang una mong sasabihin, bloodbath. I feel like the referencing and even the overall optics of that is not good. Kasi ang packaging, ang strategy ng prosecution dito, Ses, kung nakita mo, ito ba ang klase ng gusto nating leader? Kaya nga ang sinabi nung unang-una pa lang sa opening ni Defensor,
Yes.
Congressman Defensor, may mga bata. May mga bata na nagiging kriminal because these are the things that they're seeing. Tapos ang referencing mo, bloodbath. I think honestly, if
have a
I will be
point.
counsel,
But
I will
she
be
looked
uncomfortable.
very pleasant, I have to say. It was a fetching hairdo, and she looked, she was smiling.
Maganda na nga sana yun na pleasant. Bakit pa bloodbath ang sasabihin?
Oo,
No?
sabagay.
Pleasant
Sige.
na nga yung packaging di ba? Para contrary to what happened. Because they will already show the evidence na nalilisik yung mata niya, na madilim yung background. Okay na sana yung pleasant pero yung referencing pa rin na bloodbath, I feel like it is ill-advised.
Okay. Now, let's go to the opening of the BIR box being returned to the BIR, which observers saw as parang a failure of the prosecution to kind of. They didn't even put it they didn't even put it in the pre-trial order, right?
Well, maayos sa akin
Bakit
yung ruling na
hindi?
yun. Sa akin, maayos
talaga?
yung ruling na yun kasi ang sinabi lang naman nila, it's not yet time. You can subpoena it. Kasi ang ginawa ng prosecution is turn over na yung box.
Oh, yun na nga.
Nung pag-turn over ng box, ang sabi ng impeachment court, ng presiding
namin
officer,
yan?
ano namin yan, wala pa naman So, hindi pa yan under custodial So, ibalik muna natin, ngayon, pagka prinisinta nyo na yung witness na mag-identify niyan, that's the time maybe that we can subpoena it, and that's the time that we will confront the question.
Was the strategy not to put it because the defense will object, and so they were avoiding that?
Well, kasi hindi pa nila alam kung ano nakalagay sa box, di ba? Mahirap naman kasi maglagay ka na hindi pala. So, pabuksan muna natin. And then, it will be up to the prosecution to
see.
decide by then whether or not they will mark it as evidence.
Attorney Cayosa said yesterday on the big story na the president can order the BIR.
Correct. If I'm not
Should he?
mistaken, 71 yata, Section 71 of the National Internal Revenue Code, no? Ang nakalagay kasi doon is pagka under investigation, the president can authorize, no?
And merong jurisprudence on that in several cases. So,
At saka public documents itong mga
but
to,
should
sis.
he?
Well, that wisdom is up to the president, no? If I were the president, ako naman kasi ang kalkulasyon ko lang naman, Ses, di ba? Alam ko naman, intindihan ko naman yung mga practical, pero I'm not that type of a person. The first question is this the right thing to do? And
The
ultimately,
political repercussions
hindi
as
na naman siya re-electionist,
No,
di ba?
bakit?
Kaya nga, yan nga yung wisdom
Oo
behind
nga.
why we only have one 6-year
True.
term. So that the president will not be compelled to always choose between politics and practicality over and above what is right, no? So sa akin, ang lagi lang, ano bang tama dito? Ang tama dito, karapatan ng taong bayan malaman. Ano ba yung yaman mo?
Or-
At paano ba yan lumago?
Hindi ba sana incumbent upon the VP to open it?
Well, ang sabi naman nila sa rhetoric, di ba, pag walang tinatago, wala dapat ikatakot. So ako nga gusto mo, di ba, pag ako under investigation, buksan nyo. Wala akong tinatago di ba? Mahirap kasi yun, lalong-lalo na may Anti-Money Laundering Council report, 6 billion ang labas-pasok na pera. So talagang kailangan makita, nagmamatch ba dun sa kanyang tax declarations.
Calling the VP as a hostile witness, how can the defense counter that? Talaga namang hindi pwedeng mag-testify against oneself ang isang tao.
In a criminal case. But in a civil case, kaya nga ako, gusto ko, hindi dapat natin minamalit yung civil case. Meron akong mga client, sabi nila, ayoko ng civil lang, criminal lang. Sabi ko, teka lang, yung civil kasi, pwede kitang ipatawag at pwede kitang iupo sa witness stand. And when I ask questions that are incriminating, that's the only time that you invoke it. Pero in criminal cases, you really cannot, you can really can force.
So you will invoke your right against
It's self-incrimination.
Really?
Magmumuka tuloy na may tinatago at totoo. Kasi nga,
So-
mako-incriminate ka doon sa sagot mo. No?
Okay, so
Tandaan natin and I just want to tell this to the public in particular, no? Hindi akusado si Sara Duterte This is not a criminal case. She is a respondent,
She is
not
a
an accused.
respondent.
So ibig sabihin yung mga proteksyon na ina-accord sa akusado, hindi the same. Why? Because yung akusado, may karapatan yun, vested right yun to liberty. Pero walang vested right to public office. Ang importante sa public office is kailangan mong i-check yung continuing fitness ng tao na yon to remain in office.
Right. She will not go to jail if convicted, just barred from holding public office.
Correct. And then kung meron incriminating questions, then she can plead that while on the witness stand.
But this will be subject to a vote by the impeachment court. I would
Yes.
think
And
so.
kaya kung lagi kong sinasabi na dapat hindi sila uncomfortable there kasi hindi akusado si Sara Duterte. Hindi nag-a-apply yung you cannot be forced to be a witness against yourself. That is only in criminal cases. In civil cases, ilang beses na ako nagpatawag ng hostile witness eh.
That's what the defense said in their press conference today. Yun ang sagot nila.
Correct. So, yung hostile witness, ilang beses na ako na ganyan. Says, in civil cases, in injunction cases, I called the opposing party and iuupo ko sa witness stand.
So she can be compelled
She
by
can
the
be as a
court.
hostile witness because this is not a criminal case.
Now let's go to the voting threshold, which Senator Ping brought up again. Is it now justiciable? Can it now be brought to the Supreme Court?
I believe so, no? Kasi sa aking palagay, di ba yung Avelino versus Cuenco, although ang dinidiscuss nun, quorum lamang eh. Pero sa akin kasi, nilagay talaga ng framers ng Constitution is not the absolute number of 16. It is 2/3 of something.
Of the members.
Of the members. And ang tanong, can they be considered as a member at this point in time? No? Lalong-lalo na ako suspended. Ang sure ako dito, says, is the Constitution never contemplated an instance wherein there is no accountability insofar as the highest officials of our land is concerned. Paano kung bumagsak yung aeroplano, siyam yung nalaglag? Ibig sabihin ba, namatay na senador, nakasakay sila lahat. Wala na, imposible na ba tayong makakaroon ng
Pero
impeachment?
namatay. Hindi na...
Exactly nga. So ibig sabihin, paano kung nakasuhan siyam? Ibig sabihin ba, hindi na tayo pwede? Hindi sila namatay. Members of the Senate sila, pero imposible pa rin. So it's the same, no? Ultimately, dapat 24/7 ang pananagutan.
Pero when Senator Ping brought that up, it appeared that it's not a majority decision, but rather it was the presiding judge who said that it should be 16.
Yes, ang base kasi sa impeachment rules, no, if I'm not mistaken, ang pwede kasi mag-move for reconsideration yung judges doon sa presiding officer, but no one has moved for reconsideration.
Right,
ruling,
they were silent.
They were silent.
I suppose, why do you think? Were they waiting for the right time also to bring it up? Or because it would, go on and on?
Mahabang debate yan, una.
Mahabang debate, hindi na makakatayo.
Pangalawa, siguro, ayaw na rin nila gusto na lang nila na-resolve na lang ng presiding officer para maging justiciable na, para Supreme Court na yung mag-decide. Di ba? Para hugas kamay din sila sa vote. That is a possibility. Since it's justiciable already, then let the proper courts answer that question. We proceed here with the reception of evidence.
Okay. Now, where did the defense score naman? Ikaw naman, parang wala namang nagawang mabuti yung defense.
Ano lang ako ngayon? Well, mag-aantay tayo doon sa ebidensya nila. But
Or cross bukas.
Sa cross-examination, hindi pa naman eh.
Doon mo makikilatis.
Correct. Hindi pa naman nila time, in fairness. So, sa opening statements, I think
Yun lang,
nagkulang sila sa
nagkulang.
doon sa political side, nagmukha tuloy masyadong technical, hindi nakapag-communicate sa ordinaryong tao. Kanina, I feel like marami masyadong objections na nagmumukha tuloy may tinatago sila, pero hindi naman nakascore. Kung bibilangin mo, kung tatali mo parang halos lahat ng mga objections overruled. Wala nga ako narinig sa sustained.
Merong konti.
So, parang...
To a point na it seemed irritating already.
Correct.
But I guess you just have to.
Yeah.
But as you said, there's a better way of doing
But tomorrow, it's their time to shine. So let's take a look at the cross. I'm sure sila, competent yung mga lawyers nila. I'm sure na they will have a great cross. Pero sa akin nga, ang tendency kasi namin mga lawyers, pasensya na ha, is, syempre, pag litigator ka, parang kala mo korting-korte eh. Pero let's remember na this is not an ordinary impeachment court. And the moment na nagmumukha tayong aggressive, kung kakawawain niya yung witness tomorrow, for example, baka makakuha pa yun ng sentimiento
I see.
Diba?
Baka mag-backfire.
Correct. So dapat tingnan natin yung optic side
It's
of
a
it.
fine line, Kasi kanina, ang talumpati ni Congressman Defensor, alam mo yun, appealing to the
Very statesman.
heartstrings.
Very statesman. Ang
Very-
ganda pa ng boses.
Oo nga.
Di ba?
Tapos, yung question ni Senator Risa, nag-trigger naman ng biglang parang closing statement ni Attorney Ligutan.
Oo.
Na maganda rin ang boses.
Maganda rin ang boses. At magaling. Magaling ha. Very seasoned kanina. No?
Kailangan ganon? Kailangan yung medyo madrama?
Well, hindi naman madrama, pero definitely kailangan ay nakikipag-usap ka sa taong bayan. Hindi lamang sa judges, hindi lamang doon sa teknikalidad, no? Sa akin, kailangan malinaw kung bakit unacceptable ito eh. Hindi ko pa kasi maintindihan kung bakit, ang teorya ng depensa, kung bakit hindi dapat ito nangyayari. Considering the initial pieces of evidence na nangyari natin, wala pa akong nakikitang counter-narrative eh. So if I will be in the defense, kailangan ipakita ko ano yung case theory, anong game plan, anong comms plan, ano yung communication, and sa kaso ni Laila de Lima, inosente siya. Ano yung sa kanila? It cannot be 32 million ang bumoto.
Well, political persecution.
Kung political persecution, yun ang case theory. Pero hindi eh. Nagmumukhang sila pa yung galit eh. Nakukuha mo ko. Yung kay Laila de Lima, part yun ng aming case theory. Political persecution to at obvious. At naipakita yon sa lahat ng cross-examination, sa lahat ng appearances sa TV, sa lahat ng mga press releases, sa dispatches ni Laila na handwritten, nandun yon. Pero dito hindi ko pa maintindihan eh. Inaapi ba sila? O sila nang aapi? O sila pa ang galit? O sila ba may tinatago? I am still unsure whether ano yung communication
They're
line.
victims. They portray themselves as being victims.
We'll have to see. They're portraying themselves as victims, but they're not acting like one, di ba? Pag pumapasok doon, parang galit pa, bloodbath ang gusto. Yun eh. It doesn't add up. It doesn't add up. And overall, I feel na yung communication sa publiko nagkukulang.
Well, we thank you for your insights and being in the studio at that. That was Attorney Dino De Leon. Maraming salamat.
Thank you.
Yun pala. And those are the big stories this Tuesday, July 7. I'm Ces Oreña Drilon. I didn't realize that it's already 9:03. Kapatid, we are One News, your side all the time. Good night.